I'm Dave Bjorkgren, Managing Editor of the News of Delaware County.
And I'm Arthur Ryan, correspondent to the News. And this past Sunday, the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences presented its Academy Awards presentation for the 83rd time. And I'm sort of an Oscar broadcast, I don't know, historian's too strong a word, but fanatic, I guess. In fact, I have all the Oscar shows from 1976 to present. And I've been having an Oscar party every year on Oscar night. Dave was here this year, as he has been for about the last 22 years, along with some friends. We had a great time, and I thought the Oscars this year, Dave, moved well. You know, the big news going into the Oscars this year was the new host,
Right.
very young host, actors James Franco and Anne Hathaway.
Mm-hmm.
And although it's not the first time that non-comedians have hosted the Oscars, everyone from Liza Minnelli, Jack Lemmon, Walter Matthau have all done the honors in past years. Mm-hmm. So it wasn't something new that you would have these non-actors do the hosting, and I thought that they were adequate in what they did. But I agree with a lot of the critics who have said this week that they didn't possess what Billy Crystal, Bob Hope, Johnny Carson had to comment on those moments that come up during an Oscar broadcast, like this year, for say, when Melissa Leo dropped the F-bomb during her acceptance speech, to comment on those moments and sort of, you know, make the evening more entertaining as it went along.
I know what you're saying, but I actually felt like this was closer to what the awards show is supposed to be about. It's supposed to be about the movies. I think the reason it ran smoother was it didn't get bogged down with gags and cheap shots and commentary. You know, it just focused on the movies. There were things done to appeal to that younger demographic.
Without a doubt,
You know, the music video segment, which did not work for me, but maybe people in their 20s thought it was fantastic. I don't know.
And on the subject of music, again, I just thought the 4 nominated songs this year were so forgettable. Did not need to have a performance at the Oscars of these forgettable songs. It just took up time.
And with all respect to Randy Newman, come on. You know,
I mean, I love Randy Newman's scores to Avalon, The Natural, Ragtime, but he needs to stop singing his own songs at the Oscars because they just end up sounding like every other song he has sung at the Oscars.
In fact, and of course he won for Best Song from Toy Story 3, and I'm trying to figure out what made that particularly special, especially since it sounded like the other songs from Toy Story.
And this, of course, was a move by the Academy, one of several in the last several years, to make the awards program more appealing to a younger demographic, which of course means more ratings.
Yeah, apparently Hathaway, I think, might be the youngest host ever.
Very possible.
Now, whether that works or not, I think the ratings didn't really bear out.
Yeah, I think they lost about 5% of that demographic, 18 to 25. So you have to ask yourself whether or not these things are working, and will they work.
But also doing other things in past years, like adding 5 Oscar nominees.
To bring in films that the younger audience would see,
and were maybe box office hits, like Inception this year, which again won a lot of technical awards, which it was bound to anyway. But was it really a Best Picture nominee?
Yeah, but it appealed to the younger audience, so there's that again. But I don't know. I think the younger audience isn't going to sit through a 3-hour show. They're going to go on. They're going to go online and watch the highlights and move on.
Right. And then other things. Probably my biggroughest gripe with the Oscar ceremony anymore is they used to give honorary awards each year for many years, and you got to see people like Groucho Marx, Cary Grant, Deborah Kerr, all received these great awards. Many of these actors, directors like Alfred Hitchcock, who had never won an Oscar, unbelievably. And those were some of the most memorable moments. And of course, now what they do is they have a separate night called the Governor's Ball. They don't telecast it. And then what happens is at the Oscars, like we had this past Sunday night, they just brought Francis Ford Coppola and Eli Wallach out to take a quick little bow. All in about 2 minutes. Now,
with no explanation of why they were being honored.
And I point back to when I was a kid, around 1980s, when they gave Alec Guinness his special Oscar. Alec Guinness had won an Oscar, about 20 years before that, but they were giving him a Lifetime Achievement Award, and I knew him from Star Wars, as many kids my age did at that time. But how nice it was to learn that he had, this great past as an actor with films like Bridge on the River Kwai and Lavender Hill Mob, and that's what the Oscars did. They were educating at the same time.
Yeah.
You know, the one thing I did like that they did this year was finally get rid of the applausometer microphone during the in memoriam presentation,
right.
which often turned the whole evening into a
popularity contest. Yeah, for those who have died, you know.
You'd have some legendary star or starlet who had been gone out of the spotlight for maybe 20, 30 years, who none of the younger people in the audience know,
Yeah,
who
silent
get just a
film
little,
stars.
right, a silent film star, get a little
Yeah.
scattering applause, and then some young performer who maybe died very young, you know, gets this big standing ovation almost of applause. You
More
know.
of a popularity
It's a
contest
popularity
instead
contest,
of a
it shouldn't
tribute
be.
to...
It's just a tribute to those who died. I'm glad they finally did away with that.
It was done very tastefully this
It
year, I
was.
thought. I love Smile, Charlie Chaplin's song.
That was
It's
nice,
just
yeah.
beautiful.
Celine Dion did well with that.
Yeah.
I mean, Kirk Douglas, it was nice they had him come out. He was a riot.
Right.
A lot of critics criticized it, saying it was laborious and went on too long. But I think moments like that are
That's
what make the
makes
Oscars
it,
great.
That's
what everybody remembers.
That'll be an Oscar clip
yes,
now.
exactly.
Yeah, you know. If you'd like to catch a full review of our Oscar night coverage, read this week's News of Delaware County.